Welcome back to Fab Automotive Detailing and Tour Reviews. So yesterday I released a video on the new Hercules 3-inch polisher from Harbor Freight. Fantastic machine, tons of power. It does everything that you want it to do in a polisher. And I did find a link to it. They finally put it on their website. It's $119.99 for this machine, 25-foot, very nicely made cord. But let's see what the inside of this thing looks like. And what I do with every polish that I ever buy is I immediately change the grease, because the grease that they use, they try to save money. All these companies that make polishers, I'd rather actually you up the price $10, $15 and use a really high quality grease so I don't have to worry about doing this all day long, every day. I'd rather do that. But I like to change the grease, and I'll be using what I always use. Yes, I'm going to get a million comments about this because I did the last time I showed one of these. So I use AMSOIL NLGI number 2. This is a fantastic all-purpose grease. It's perfectly fine for products like this. I use this in every polisher that I've ever had. And I have hours and hours, a lot of hours on my polishers, and I've never, ever, ever had a gear failure or problem at all. I take them apart periodically, clean the grease out, put new in, because I put a lot of hours on a lot of my polishers, and this has never given me a single problem at all. So if you gotta leave a comment, don't worry about leaving that comment about you're using the wrong type of grease. It's fine. I've used this for years and I've never had an issue. So first thing I want to do, we're gonna take these screws out here. And these are T25s, I believe, if I remember right, because I got this out. This is actually a really old Harbor Freight Torx. Yeah, it's a T25. This is an old one from Harbor Freight from a long time ago. One of the very first tools I ever bought from Harbor Freight was a screwdriver set that came with these. This was probably 25 years ago at least. So yeah, let's go ahead and take the bottom of the handle apart. Let's see if we can find where the carbon brushes are, because this is not a brushless motor. It does use brushes. So let's just see if it comes time for you to replace it, what it's going to take to get to the carbon brushes. Always make sure you have a nice clean work area when you're taking a machine apart. That way you don't get any dirt and gunk inside the machine, especially in the grease or whatever you're doing. Okay, so we just have 2 on this side, but this side has 2, 4, 6, 8. We're gonna take the bottom part first though, like I just said. I was super impressed by this machine. I used it on my son's car in the video. Tons of power. I mean, this thing does exactly what you want it to do. So while I'm sitting here doing this, I have gone back to turning wrenches professionally again a couple days a week to help the old shop I used to work at out, because their senior mechanic retired and they needed another mechanic, and they made an offer too good for me to refuse. So I took all my tools up there. So all I have at the house is the tools that are in this box now. So I got to do this all by hand. Normally I'd have an impact driver or something to take this apart with, but I do have one here, but all my bits are at the shop, so have to do it by hand. Okay, let's see here. All right, so there's carbon brush number 1. So all you're gonna have to do is take the bottom apart. Pretty basic as far as a machine is concerned. There's carbon brush number 2. Right there, and all you have to do to take these apart is disconnect the wire right here. Let's see on this one, what's holding it down. Okay, so this little spring right here, you have to kind of pull it up and over, and then your brush will come out. You don't have to take these Phillips heads out right here. So yeah, pretty simple there. And the wires look good. They're not, like, I've taken some machines apart that they're bent so bad that if you wiggle them, they'll stop working. These aren't bent or folded over or anything like that. This switch looks like it'd be easily replaceable if you had to. So far so good. Let's go ahead and take the backing plate off. It does come with a wrench, but it's over in the box and I forgot to grab it. This is a 4mm. I grabbed this out of my toolbox. You're just going to hold it and then break it free. And this is just the typical way you take pretty much any polisher apart. So inside here, you're going to have your counterbalance weight, which is what this right here is. And it looks like it's a Phillips head. Let's hope I can get them free. May have to stick something down in here. Kind of like that. And try to hold it. Okay, there's one. Because the reason we got to take the counterbalance off is we got to get to the, I mean, you don't have to actually. They do have blue Loctite. That's good to see. You don't have to. You can actually just move around to get the screws out that are in there, but I'd rather just go ahead and get it off of there. And always use Loctite when you put it back together. Crap, my Loctite's at the shop. So we may put this back together without the Loctite, and then I'll have to take it back apart just to do this. But for the purpose of the video, we'll have to put it together with the Loctite, without Loctite today. Because inside the head, there's where your Phillips are to get the head apart. But now we need to take the outer casing off. You know, after not wrenching for the last, because I was a mechanic for a little over 20 years professionally, and I haven't wrenched in over 5 years as far as professionally. I've done some stuff with my own cars, but nothing major. Going back and doing it and doing the diagnosing and stuff, I actually found out that I kind of miss it. I'm really good at being a mechanic. Not the best there is, but I consider myself pretty good. And the reason I say that is every shop that I've worked at, I've worked with multiple mechanics that they get comebacks all the time. Comebacks are the worst thing you have at a shop because that means you're doing the work for free. And in the 21 years I was a mechanic, I might be able to count on 2 hands the amount of comebacks that I had, but I really don't think I can. I always take my time and I do the job right. I don't rush through anything. I get the job done in time, don't get me wrong. That's kind of big in the mechanic world. But I get the job done, and I take pride in knowing that I'm doing the job right. That way I don't have to second guess myself when the customer leaves, or at nighttime. I've done that, gone to bed and be like, crap, did I tighten that bolt down? Too many times in my career did I think about that when I'm going to bed. Okay, we're gonna split this off of here. Pretty easy. This is actually a pretty nice plastic. And I love all the, what they call that double shot rubber. I think, oh, hang on, somebody's hollering at me. Hang on a minute. Get back to this here. Here's the head. This is how the bottom of the body is going to come apart. We'll take that apart. Let's go ahead and just take the whole top of it off before we do the grease. Ooh, can't really get in there with that. Let me get my trusty Icon toolkit out. I love this toolkit. I use it all the time. I got this thing when it was on sale. No, that's not going to work. Okay, we're going to have to take the head off first, where the gears are, because it looks like to me once those screws are out of the way, I can probably get to it. So let's just go ahead and take this off. Those are tight. Oh man, that thing is in there tight. So let's just see if we can't use that with this Icon ratchet to make our job a little bit easier. Put extension on, it's magnetic, which is nice. I guess it's a 2 for video for you guys. Yeah, that's got a good bite to it. Oh, whew. There's that one. Let's just go ahead and loosen them all up. One shot really quick. I reach for this toolkit all the time, ever since I got it. I love it. When you tighten these back down, do it in crisscross, just in case I forget to mention that later. It comes apart nicely. Yeah, see? It's bone dry. There's nothing on the gears. It's all underneath. That doesn't do any good. Yes, the gears are a little wet, as you hopefully can see. But that's not really doing you a whole lot of good when it's just spread around the bottom and then the outside. It's a good looking grease, but it's not a very good functioning grease. Because look at the gear. It is completely dry also. So this is why I always change the grease in the heads of every polisher that I buy. Now let's see if we can get, hey look, we can get straight on them now. Nothing like taking a brand new machine apart. Okay, so there's the head off of, very nice aluminum. Machined very well, which is pretty nice. Now this is almost like a fan. It looks like a fan, right? So it has to do for something for cooling. The way that is made. Look how dry that is. Old saying of being a mechanic is drier than a popcorn fart. That's pretty freaking dry. So there we go. There's the internals. You can see windings look pretty good. Now, I am not an expert on this type of stuff. I can just tell you what I'm seeing. This is going to be your cooling fan. This is the metal piece, the aluminum, and it's aluminum, so it should dissipate heat, but this is the metal piece that gets hot on your hands on this polisher. The bearings feel really good. Very smooth. And then we got a bearing right here. It's smooth. They are made in China bearings. They say it right there on them. Might be able to show you on this one right there at the very top. It says China. Yep, right there. But the bearings feel good. Obviously, they're sealed bearings, so they're not serviceable. But they feel good. So, and then inside here, like I said, I don't really know what I'm looking at when it comes to stuff. Now, we're going to have to push our carbon brushes back to be able to put this thing back together. I'll show you where those are at the very bottom right there. That's where the carbon brushes are. So I guess I'll go ahead and show you guys how to take carbon brushes out, because in order to put this back together, we're going to have those carbon brushes out of here. Normally they're not pressed down like this when you do it, so I think we're just gonna, let me get some pliers here. So we're gonna take this off here. I guess we ruin it. We got 2 more, but it shouldn't ruin it. I mean, I've replaced many brushes, so. Okay. And that way, we're just going to go ahead and let this fall down and let it come out. This is not how you normally would do this. You'd normally grab your spring. Man, I kind of screwed myself here, didn't I? Oh well. We'll figure it out. Normally you grab your spring up like this, and you're going to put it over the edge like that, right? That way you can pull your brush out. See, there's a brush. Now I want to make sure this is the left side. Let's just go ahead and put it on my left. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So you take that spring right there. See if I can get the iPhone to, there you go. And just push it up over the edge, right where my finger's at, right where that lip is. Push it up over the edge. Oh, that's for the cruise control. Okay, so your actual switch is right in there. See if I can show you. See that white right inside there? Watch what happens when I do this. Okay, that pushes the switch on. There's your cruise control to hold it on, and then that releases it. So that's your switch, that's your power switch right down there. But I'm not gonna take this part any further because I don't wanna take a chance. I mean, we could take all this out, we don't need to. I don't wanna take a chance of messing up my switch or anything like that. So let's go ahead and let's put this back in. Okay, so that's gonna sit in there like that. And then make sure we're gonna drop it straight down. Nice and easy. And that is not right, I don't think. No. Okay, there we go. That's it. That's in. You can see the bearing there also says China on the top of it. We're going to take the brush. You see this groove on top of the brush? That's what that spring holds onto. We're just going to set the brush down in there. Oops, I put it in backwards. We're going to set that brush down in there like that. We're going to pick that spring back up. Hoping I can show this good on camera. We're just going to lift it up and drop it back over on top of it. And that's going to hold the brush in place. And then we're going to take our wire. Make these things so freaking small. Take our wire and we're just going to plug it right back on. And once you get to there, you can kind of wiggle it up the rest of the way. Like that. And then we're going to repeat that process on this side, same thing. I really don't remember. I may have to look back through my video if this is supposed to be where the switch is. I may do that really quick before I throw this on because I think that would be right. But I could be wrong. I'm going to look back through my video really quick and then I'm going to clean that out and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the grease all out. As you can see, about 99.9% of it. Yeah, so basically I was doing that right, but we'll put that back together here in just a minute. I want to grease everything up really good, but I want to show you guys something. So the gear sits on here, right, like this, and there's a keyway. This is what's called a keyway. Hopefully I can show you guys that. Don't do what I did. I didn't take this out. It sits right inside that groove right there, and I blew it because I used brake clean, and I blew it, and it went boom. I was like, I saw it fly, and I'm so glad I found it. If I wouldn't have found it, I'd been screwed. That's what allows us to spin. Otherwise, I'll show you. Otherwise, this thing is going to spin freely, as you see right there. You have to have the keyway. But anyways, I had to take that off, that snap ring, because there was tons of grease underneath here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of grease in here. It's probably just gonna help keep this cool. And then I'm gonna put this back on. I'll put just a little bit of grease around the gear. And then we're gonna put grease inside of here. Don't need a lot of grease in here. There wasn't a lot in here, but there was enough that I was like, you know what? I probably ought to put some grease in there. Another thing I'm noticing, I don't see any seals. There's no seals. So I find that pretty interesting. No O-rings or anything to keep this thing from leaking. So I guess we'll see in the future if it ends up leaking. Normally you have like an O-ring here that'll smash down inside of there, but it doesn't. So now we're gonna take this keyway, and I'm gonna try to set that keyway. Okay, so that keyway is right there, it's flush. That's the way you want it. And then this little groove right here at the top of this has to line up with that keyway. And now look, the gear does not move independently on itself. I'll put it right back down where it was. Like that, and then I like to take a flathead screwdriver, push it down until it snaps in, just like you do on like a wheel bearing or something, and you're good to go. So now we are good to go. The snap ring is in. And I think, if I remember right, this is just a Harbor Freight video. These are old Pittsburgh. I don't think they even sell these anymore. They could, but you'll know if you have too much grease because it's going to go all the way out of it. And then I like to take my finger in here and I'll just get everything spread around really good. See how tacky this stuff is? Push it down all over the gear. We're going to put just a little bit more in. Okay, and I'm just going to take what I've got on my fingers right now, including up here. I'm just going to go around the gear. I'm going to fill in each spot. Clean up our mess on the outside here. Looks like to me, sorry about my stool, this should go pretty much any direction. Okay, we are down. Visualize the holes, make sure they look like they are lining up, which they are. I'm gonna take these off so I don't get grease all over everything. And we're gonna do the same thing with these. We're gonna do an X pattern. I'm gonna tighten them down until they're all in. This is gonna be a long video, guys, but bolts, they do have lock washers on them. That's probably why they don't put thread locker on them, because the lock washer does its job. Up against the bottom of the bolt and it shouldn't go nowhere. Okay, I'm gonna put these in by hand instead of using, obviously by hand, but instead of using the ratchet. Just like that. And I'm gonna go back around, push down against it, and make sure, because they are very fine thread, do not want to strip these in aluminum. You'll be buying yourself a new machine. And Harbor Freight or whoever's machine you're taking apart is not going to warranty it. Okay, that's good and tight, as tight as it really needs to be. You can see there's two slants on it. It matches right here. Just line them up, push it down and over it. You can put a thread locker on this, but I don't think you need to. I've never had to do that ever in all the years I've been doing this to machines. And that's it. we are back together. Let's turn this thing on. Let's make sure we're on speed 1. You know, it's one thing I didn't mention. That went all the way back there. That's one thing I didn't mention in my video is this is not a slow start, and I love that. I hate slow start machines. This is a fast start. So let's go speed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You know, I can't tell you if it made it quieter or smoother because this machine was pretty quiet for a polisher. Because polishers, it's just the nature of it. Polishers can be loud. It wasn't crazy loud like I'm used to on a lot of polishers, and it was smooth as glass when you use it, and it still feels really smooth. There you go. There's the new Hercules 3-inch polisher from Harbor Freight. Take it apart, take a look at the inside, show you how to replace your brushes, show you how to replace your grease. And this machine should last you a long time, honestly. If you just take care of it, maintenance, machines just like cars, they require maintenance. Do the maintenance on them and the machine should be really good to you. And these are incredible money makers, but I've been happy with it. I've used it twice now. Absolutely thrilled with it. I think it's a fantastic machine, and I think now with the new grease and everything, it's gonna be even better. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and learned a little bit of something on this machine. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, join the Fab family. We'd love to have you. We'll see you in the next video.